Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Infinity Saga. This is your one and only spoiler warning for any of the movies in the saga. If you have a strong desire to see any of the movies before hearing about them from two regular Dans, turn this off now and go watch those amazing pieces of cinema. Then come back here and listen to our take, because we have a lot of interesting takes. We always discuss the current movie, but the stories here are so interwoven it's almost impossible not to talk about the future movies in the franchise. So, again, this is your one and only spoiler warning for any of the movies in the Infinity Saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is also your one and only adults-only content warning. Our aim is never to offend or alienate, and everything we say should be taken with a grain of salt. Please refrain from taking offense to our comedy. We're just here to discuss the current movie and have fun. Enjoy! Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
How are you?
Fantastic.
That's great. You know what time it is?
Yeah.
It's Discussing Dan's time.
Oh, yeah.
Entertainment and you, how pop culture shapes your world. Our mission statement is to keep a vague and open dialogue about how science fiction has affected pop culture as viewed through the eyes of two Dans in their 30s
and 40s.
And 40s.
You know, as you do.
NBD. No topic is too off topic, and no opinion is wrong. We are in the 5th installment of our Infinity Saga. My personal origin story favorite, Captain America, the first Avenger.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, I want to say to me it's tied for first with Iron Man.
Iron Man was really good. I did like Iron Man quite a bit. This one was 2011. It came out the same year that Thor did, directed by Joe Johnston.
I gotta say, you did a great job.
I totally agree. In my opinion, if you hadn't seen, I actually wrote that note, if you hadn't seen the movie or trailers when you came out and you came into this movie, the opening is kind of like an Aliens movie. They're finding some sort of suspicious thing in the Arctic. It was great.
Yeah, like on the frozen tundra, classic mystery open. You know, like what are they doing out there? And then there's this big thing under the ice.
Yeah, all those red lights designating that it, the shape of it underneath the ice.
I gotta say, when I saw the laser drill, I liked it. I liked the laser drill because it makes our regular world, but also there's a tad bit different.
There's some Stark. They throw some Stark tech in there.
Yeah, it keeps it comic booky. It's not exactly our world, but yeah, it's and you get to see the outline of what must be this gigantic secret, ship from the 40s.
I'm guessing it's a ship.
Lost.
Yeah, it's like a big triangle shape. They don't really get a good look at it. But
right.
Cuts through the ship and he drops in and they.
Laser tunnel maker.
They find Captain America, and he actually says, I made a note of that too. When he finds him, he says, "Get the colonel on the phone or the major on the phone," and I'm wondering what major that would be.
Huh?
Is that I wonder because Incredible Hulk they used part of that serum,
right,
so I wonder if it's Major what's his face who eventually becomes
Mustache.
Major Mustache. Who eventually becomes the that guy from Civil War.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are connected to or aspired, were inspired by Captain America's actions here. Like, it's the idea, the origin of the superhero.
Oh, yeah.
And why Coulson had the cards.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's cool.
Felt so strongly about what Captain America's effect had on society.
The same reason I feel that way about Captain America.
Right.
So righteous.
I'm verklempt.
He's worthy.
Yeah, right. That's a fact. That is a
true fact.
And that's the thing is, he was worthy. He was worthy before the procedure even.
That's exactly how I feel. And the doctor, what's the doctor's name who develops the serum? The German. I forget the actor's name too.
Stanley Tucci is the actor's
Oh,
name.
nice.
But let me give me a moment. I have this on IMDb. I have that open.
Excellent.
IMDb. We are taking sponsorship.
Yes, we would love to advertise for your great website.
Dr. Abraham Erskine.
So it's Abe. It's Dr. Abe.
There you go. That's way better.
I like Abe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dr. Abe tells him in the beginning, which kind of shapes how you're supposed to feel about Captain America. Do you want to kill Nazis? He's like, well, is this a test? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't want to kill anybody. I just don't like bullies. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I believe you're worthy.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's worthy. The little guy. And he tells him, what does he tell him when he's the night before the procedure that he's a weak guy, so he can appreciate strength.
Yeah.
He gave it to Red Skull, and
he did a great job. The whole Dr. Abe is fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked him a lot. I'm really sad that he got killed in this movie.
I also like the Odin's treasure room. They was in Norway when the Schmidt guy, was that his name?
Johann Schmidt.
Johann Schmidt.
Yeah, the German Red Skull.
Red Skull. Whoa, yeah. Johann Schmidt. He's got this flesh face.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Johann Schmidt. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. But I like the Odin's cave there because as he was crashing through whatever wall to get into the chamber, you saw a candle holder that had like four helmets on it, which implies to me that there's multiple generations of people and their helmets of who's protected this room.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And and also they set up in the chamber the strength of Johann by there's 3-4 Nazis trying to open up the crypt. They couldn't move it, but
I made an extra note about that.
Brushed it right out.
And he's like, hurry before he gets here, and they're all four of them trying to smash it open. Right. But Johann's just bush.
Yeah. It's a lot of good setup for Johann, and he talks his way using his intellect through this conversation, bashing a guy, defeating a guy who has been devout his entire life.
Yeah.
And Johann is talking to him like he means nothing, sees through all of whatever
the
drive.
They're trying to hide it, and the treachery or trickery that they're going through to hide the Tesseract.
Yeah. The fake glass thing in the tomb.
You wouldn't bury something so powerful or whatever.
The humongous wood, intricately carved secret chamber that he figured out in 4 seconds of looking at it.
It's the
snake.
It's the Christian tree. It's the end of Ragnarok, which ends with a tree, a serpent, a man, and a woman, and then Christianity begins with. I'm really hardcore summarizing here, but Christianity begins with a tree, a serpent, and a man and a woman. And then,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how Ragnarok ends. That's why people are like, Christianity is basically a hodgepodge religion. Because they take stuff from the pagans, or at least they take their dates and stuff like that. But they were, at the time, they were trying to, getting a little off topic here, but the Christians were trying to get their religion to appeal to everyone.
Sure. Yeah,
so they were borrowing things, and so that explains that. But
that's interesting. I like it though.
I liked it in this because he knows it's the snake's eye, which is the snake is the bad guy.
Right, and he's like, here's where the secret is, and the knowledge.
Yeah. And he tricks that actor, that old guy, is Argus Filch.
Oh man, he's
from
the
Harry Potter.
Yeah, from a million British things, or just old man roles.
Yeah,
he is old man in so many things.
Yeah,
he's looked like this for the past 2 decades.
Oh yeah, he's like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, right.
He just cast as the old guy.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love the zoom in on the Hydra skull after he kills Argus Filch.
Right? Oh yeah, there's a good setup. Then
we set up Captain America.
Yeah, like you were saying, little boy Steve Rogers is adorable. And another thing
the tiny shoulders, man,
is in that scene as Johann Schmidt was talking to the devout protector of the Tesseract. He was basically expressing to him that. Oh, he said because the devout protector said that it's not meant for normal people's eyes.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, it's not. I'm not a normal person.
As he's staring right at it,
his stance is that he's a superior being.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get introduced to Steve Rogers, which we see that he is the most selfless being. Despite his physical ailments and setbacks. he wants to provide just as much as everybody else he sees, is putting forth, and he's doing it out of patriotism. He is driven to be, the strong American that the World War II was demanding and were expecting. And
he's already a good person,
Yeah.
but this, not to say propaganda, but propaganda machine is molding him to the will of
that's an interesting
the good.
aspect. Because he becomes a propaganda machine later.
Yeah.
So,
which is what? Yeah, exactly.
So it is a testament to American brainwashing. I gotta say,
Yeah.
we do it right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If anybody does it better than anybody, it's us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what we gotta say.
We
right?
got
America. We take your sponsorship. We accept all kinds of money.
That's actually, I have that written down. I know it's way later, but Red Skull tells him, what does he tell him? He's like, arrogance is not a uniquely American trait, but you do it better than everyone.
Yeah, right.
That's so true. That is so absolutely true.
Yeah. So,
but you paint the picture of Captain America pretty quickly. He's plucky. He wants to do right, plucky guy, and he meets Dr. What was it? Abe? What's Dr. Abe?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with.
So he has I wrote that down. He's got a laundry list of ailments.
Yeah.
Asthma. It's one of the lines said exposure to family with tuberculosis.
Oh yeah.
And like a bunch of other, a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Shortness of breath.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not the healthiest person, but.
I heard a lot of people critiquing the CGI that he looks like a 30-year-old guy face on a skinny guy, which I gotta say they did a pretty good job.
For 2011, being spoiled by a Thanos that looks more realistic than any other fake villain I've ever seen, other than Darth Vader, which was
did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I buy it, and I'm attached to the same person when he comes out of the machine later.
Oh yeah, more than attached,
dude.
But then we meet. Not only did we meet Johan in the beginning, but we meet another one of my favorite side actors from many, many, many different things is Dr. Zola.
Oh yeah, he's perfect in this.
Who's the actor for that?
Let me give me a moment.
We should designate you as the IMDb guy.
I am the IMDb guy.
EDB.
Dr. Zola.
His perfect German round glass. I don't know why they're German, but he is German in the movie, so I guess they're German round glasses. But they look perfect on him for like a sidekick.
Toby Jones.
Yeah, he's perfect for this. One thing and a gripe I have about every movie that does this, but when they're set in a foreign place and they're all foreigners, they're speaking English in that accent.
Yeah.
Just give me subtitles or give me just English. I don't need British people doing German accents.
Yeah. And they often will give a wrong accent, but just more like palatable that we understand is foreign.
Exactly. Yeah, the German in this is, while very, very good, it's very palpable.
Yeah, but I really liked the Red Skull's German accent.
Yes, it was very quick and very precise.
Hugo Weaving
my God.
So good as a villain.
I know. It's
a shame they didn't like the makeup procedure. He looked fantastic.
Yeah, they did a
Red
good
Skull.
job. I can't imagine what they must have. Yeah, it must have been layers because he has no nose.
No, they CGI'd.
Oh, they took his nose out?
This is a guy. I think it was his green.
Oh,
green tip.
okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, his face would be out to like here.
No, but it makes it look perfect.
Yeah,
it was so good.
He acted the part perfect too. Even with all that makeup on.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's just a real shame. I can't blame the guy. I understand it's a lot to ask, and he probably has a lot of money and doesn't need to play the villain anymore.
For 10 minutes, not even in the sequels.
Yeah, so I understand, but he is just too perfect for the role.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, in Avengers Endgame, when they replace him with the CGI and guy impersonating Hugo Weaving doing Red Skull, because Hugo Weaving doing Red Skull is fucking choice.
Yeah, it's
I'm just
perfect.
saying. Yeah.
I always forget her name, but the woman who casts for the MCU is a genius.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh my gosh,
She's so perfect.
She's
Peggy, I mean, even Peggy.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter, perfectly cast. And
Yeah.
Jesus, what a bombshell.
Right.
Not to be, whatever, but she's very attractive. I like looking at her female ness. Yes. She looks very pretty. And she was very well cast. She does a really good job as Peggy Carter. I haven't seen the show. But Teresa swears by it. And she's
Really?
amazing in it. Yeah.
Awesome.
She says it's
I
really,
haven't
really
seen the
good.
show either, but you know what? It's going to be on Disney Plus, isn't it?
And it already is, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have access to it.
It's on, ditto.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I loved her in this. She, the only thing I didn't like, and I actually made a note about that, was that when they introduce her and she's talking to the troops, and like, hey, Queen Elizabeth, I didn't know I was taking orders from a blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then he gets all misogyny on her, and he's like, oh, I will take you out and show you my dick, or whatever he says. And she punches him, rightly so. And then Tommy Lee Jones shows up, perfectly cast.
Yeah, oh my God.
And they just gloss over the misogyny like that. Real fast.
And the punch.
Well, the punch, yeah, sure. Gratification. But, what
It's
about
the
the
40s.
systemic...
It's the
Yeah, exactly. It's the 40s. All right, yeah, exactly. It's also a fucking Marvel movie, so I shouldn't be nitpicking. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I really like the whole training setup where he goes to basic training and outsmarts the whole platoon that were trying to climb the flagpole, but he was able to figure out, I pull the pin. And what does that say about our soldiers for the many years this drill sergeant has been training, and he's never seen anybody get it? And nobody's pulled that pin? Come on.
Exactly. Not a one of them, but he proves, he proves one of three things here. He proves how smart he is, taking the pin out of the flagpole, getting the flag.
Yeah.
And getting the ride with Peggy and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
And then the other part is when he jumps on the grenade. And he proves his bravery, and that was exactly Tommy Lee Jones proves Dr. Abe's point.
I don't know if that's the first time I tear up in this movie. Generally, I generally will tear up in this scene when he's like,
"Get back!"
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, generally at least. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, get back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a good soul, and then he's just shaped by the 1940s America that's around him. And I did make a note first of all, they had a receptacle. Dr. Zola and Johann, they had a receptacle ready for the Tesseract, not knowing, anything about it. Kind of like how when Tony Stark shoves the palladium core in his chest, not knowing at all what is going to happen besides a cocaine high.
Yeah.
They just plugged that cube in like, oh yeah, well, first of all, we made this receptacle for it. Kind of like how Jeff Bridges made a Iron Man suit ready for the fucking thing without knowing how it works.
Yeah.
But when they do that, there's a bunch of they do a second where they're looking around, and he's like, I didn't come here for 70%, doctor, and he maxes it out. And there's a moment where there's a bunch of blue aura glowy stuff.
Right. I think that's a space stone. Yeah.
And I think that's in the next movie we're gonna watch, which I'm really excited for. In Avengers, Thor says that it proves that humanity is now ready for a higher form of war.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the moment when it alerted other dimensions or galaxies or whoever that it was on Earth. The stone? The Power Stone?
Yeah, the Space Stone.
The Space Stone.
Yeah.
That it was on Earth.
Yeah.
I think that's what did it.
Yeah.
Because it was probably buried there by Odin, or maybe Odin's in the MCU. I'm not talking the comics. I'm just speculating MCU.
This is definitely this event. Well, and these events are a fulcrum that.
Nice word.
Right. That inspires a lot of actions. The Tony Stark and all of his progression in technology. I gotta say, if he was able to float in the Tony Stark Expo, if he was able to float a car for seconds, we saw that. If he was able to float a car for seconds for an expo, we'd be having flying cars by now. They would have figured that shit out. If they had some kind of gravity reversal, because that's what we even called it, a gravitic reversion.
Yeah, gravity reversion. That's probably just a flashy name, like a 1940s sales pitch,
because
though.
even in 2020, we don't know what gravity is. What our speculation of what gravity is the effect we feel in interacting in the of space and time. The effect we feel of time. Yeah, man.
While in space.
While
or
in
something.
space. Yeah. It's just like there's a field. Yeah, man. We don't understand what gravity is.
Nope. Point is, we don't fucking know.
We can measure it and predict it, but we have no idea how it's doing it.
Yeah, or why. I mean, I imagine
it's tied to mass because that's like in our formulas.
And you know what that's tied to? Math.
Yeah.
And fuck that.
So
I'll leave math to the people better than me.
No flying cars yet. I'm just saying.
No flying cars, but maybe in the MCU it was like a governmental suppression thing. Maybe they're like, let's keep that technology for ourselves.
Yeah, if they're gonna have flying
and make our flying jets and
flying,
shit.
Helicarriers, the shield.
Oh yeah, well that had fans.
Yeah, it was more believable.
Yeah.
Even in 2020, it was more believable to say that we had gyrocopters, that we don't have anti-gravitic drives. That's too crazy. We wouldn't do that.
No. Gravity reversion.
But in the 40s, we almost had it.
Gravity reversion died in the 50s.
Yeah.
Little known fact.
It's for the hippies, right?
Yeah. They made the technology just to shut the hippies up.
Right? It's a dead end.
It's a dead end.
Anti-gravity drive.
Who told you? Rhodey Pepper. It was Rhodey Pepper.
Yeah.
Quoting another MCU movie while discussing another good MCU movie.
Always coming back to the dude.
But yeah, so he proves how he proves how smart he was grabbing the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote 3 times in my notes how perfect Tommy Lee Jones was for this role.
Oh man,
the
way he talks, it's just. I mean, even just Tommy Lee Jones, the way. Well, no, I don't know. In a casual conversation, I can't vouch for this, but
in his roles,
in his roles, he talks as if he's 3 steps ahead already and explaining something to a child always.
I know, it's awesome. There's the scene when they're in the tent and he doesn't even look. He just points and Captain America's gone and he's like, if you got something to say, now would be the time to shut up and get out of here or whatever. But yeah, he doesn't give a shit. It seems like he doesn't give a shit, but he also knows what you're going to say anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. He was so good for this role.
Though I did question his "you're not enough," and then, I mean, I gotta say, one of my feelings was that the montage of when he turns into Captain America, and they're like, "You're not enough. We wanted a whole army of Captain America soldiers, and because that's not happening, because we can't mass produce the product that the Dr. Abe has delivered to us, then we're done with you. Good day. We don't even want to.
Time to lift motorcycles with ladies on them on the show on the road.
That whole propaganda montage, I felt, I liked it. I liked it a lot, but it almost went too long. Like, I don't know. Like,
oh, you thought so?
Almost. I said
almost.
That doesn't say I did it. I almost.
I thought it was a perfect, like, I don't know, it was a perfect take on America in the 40s, and then my favorite part was they cut to him. He's going through Milwaukee and St. Louis, and then they cut to him
I'm thinking of what happens to Captain America. He's on the road with freaking 40 women of appealing age, and he's the star of the show, and he's ridiculously charming and good looking and enormous and can lift motorcycles. He's going to have gone through probably his most.
Maybe not. It was hot to talk to dames back then, see?
Questionable period. I'm just saying.
Hey, there was 18 years of Jesus' life missing in the Bible. You can accept a couple of months missing of Captain America's background story.
He's putting in 110% is all I'm saying.
He's putting in 69%, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean, let's ignore the fact. Let's just say he is a golden child.
He's also a teenager, right?
No, he's not a teenager. He's enlisting age. He's got to be 21.
I thought he was lying about his age so that he could enlist. I just thought about that. That's something I'm just realizing. I think he.
I don't think he was lying. But he was lying on the test about where he was because he failed the first time.
All right.
First 4 times.
I wonder how old he is. He's still like 18, 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So,
I
18,
mean, 19,
you can also draw the same conclusion that
having
maybe he was
18,
outed.
19-year-old who has had the body of Steve Rogers prior to this procedure, now given the body of Steven Rogers post the procedure and put on tour. I'm just saying.
Well, then further testament to his righteousness. Him.
My thoughts on this was he
beefcake.
rationalized it as I wasn't really Captain America this time. He became really Captain America when he went to Germany at the end of his propaganda tour to talk to
the montage of him kicking ass. Right?
Right. Well,
after he goes to Germany and he rescues Bucky and
right, that's when he becomes the real
a real American hero.
But I'm just saying
not when he's getting laid in 30 states.
His touring days, that was his experience gaining, so that he's not all jumping over. I think Peggy, whatever. I mean, if
he's still awkward around her.
He's awkward
well
because
after
he
the
actually
fact.
likes her, other than the.
Well, he's awkward around the male lady.
I don't know.
The one from Game of Thrones.
It was my speculation.
It was my speculation that he's so like.
I'd be amazed. I'm just saying.
Righteous and. Dude, there's.
All right.
He's like afraid of. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Let's assume that's the case. Well, let's assume that's the case.
Okay.
If that is the case, then that makes him an even stronger form of the righteous American. He's like resisting the temptation of sexy ladies while he's on tour for multiple cities, and then still able to get the girl in the end and kick ass.
What we're supposed because they never even covered it. That's what we're supposed to assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I assumed.
I'm reading between the scenes.
Mr. Sexy Line Drawer.
I'm reading between the scenes.
You're drawing sexy lines. That's what you're doing.
He's building his moral code.
Chris Evans is innocent, damn it. He's never been with a lady in his life until Peggy when he went back in time.
I can see both sides of the story.
That would be a good if Disney made like a mature rated side. They do like Steve on the road, Milwaukee in the 1940s, fucking getting wild.
He had endurance, I gotta say.
Couldn't get drunk, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, we got drunk on love. They do like a behind the what was that show? Behind the Music.
Yeah, right.
An expose on
everyone
1940s.
Cheered up about World War II. Captain America was telling everybody
before he was the hero. Learn when he was a zero. Misogyny.
Stacy from I was a C in Captain America, and he treated me so terribly.
He treated me awful.
I don't think he would be. That's the thing. That's. I won't say his sleazy time was treating him terribly. I'm just saying.
No, he was just being a womanizer.
Well, no, just subjecting, just succumbing. They would be fucking throwing themselves at him.
Oh, okay.
He's a fucking 6
okay. So you're not saying he's like, hey, come here, baby.
No, I'm just saying over the weeks of on tour,
I gotcha.
All these ladies would be like, oh, how you doing? Can you come to my tent? That's all I'm saying. It's months of,
whoa,
I just got a new body. I mean, Spider-Man did that whole metaphor of, I'm now stronger. I can shoot white stuff out of my body.
Man, you are drawing a lot of sexual conclusions with these movies. I did not make that connection at all.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not at all until just now, since you said it. Did I make the association of shooting white stuff out of his wrists?
He looks down at his junk and he's happy. I'm just saying.
Oh, I haven't seen Raimi's Spider-Mans in a while, so I forget that scene.
In a while, okay.
It's been a long time. So I just don't remember it. I recede my conclusionary.
I'm just saying.
Aggressive.
I think it's been a conclusion drawn by a lot of other people too. That It's just like that's just Spider-Man.
He's a horny teenager.
Bit by a spider when he's like around 16. You know, you know what I mean? Like 15, 16.
Let me shoot my webs on you, girl. Let me shoot my webs on you, girl.
Yeah, I don't know, but Captain America was this scrawny guy, and now boom, he's huge and capable.
I gotcha.
So it's
point Dan. We won't specify which one.
That's always a good system.
Oh yeah.
Dan 9000, Dan 2.
Yep, I agree with that.
That's correct.
I agree
Sir.
that
is the correct score.
That's I'm beating you by 1,898, or maybe you're beating me by 1,898.
It's up in the air.
That's the beauty of the game.
So I don't know. So weeks on tour, it leads him to Germany.
Which that's what I was saying before. That's what my favorite part is, that propaganda leading up to, and then smash. He's in
Germany
somewhere,
right?
The front,
close to Austria,
and the crowd is gravely different.
Throwing tomatoes.
Yeah, they're not happy that he's.
I need a volunteer. How do you think I got here?
Yeah, not happy. They just want to see the girls.
Yeah.
So, they're ravaged by war. And
he's feeling kind of useless. And then he overhears that Barnes is in trouble, or his unit. The unit
How can I?
You're
You're taking all the stupid with you.
Right. And then he gets determined, and he had that encouragement from Peggy Carter saying you're meant for more than this. And he asks, so he's on his way out, and she's like, and he's like, did you mean that? He's like, every word. But boom, that's when he's like, you know what? I'm leaving all those tour ladies behind. It's only Peggy Carter from now on. Here on out.
She's the lady for me. I don't need any of these other scrubs.
I'll go back in time if necessary.
And he does.
And it is super sweet.
It'd be funny if he goes back in time and visits all the floozies before settling down. Hey, I'm still in my late 30s, so I got some life left in me.
And I am here for the next.
In regular human years, I'm like 15. So let's get down and dirty.
You remember me,
right? She's
Captain America.
Yeah. Where'd you go? You have my helmet? I got fired for that.
Yeah.
Remember when he takes the helmet?
Yeah. And then he sneaks into the German camp and rescues everybody after the general had written them off, and Captain America couldn't accept it.
Yeah, the Zola sees Red Skull with his face off for the first time when that guy's painting him.
Right.
And that's when he's like, it didn't work. I forget how he words it, but he basically, Dr. Zola insults Johann by saying, he's like, they have the serum. It's their greatest enemy their greatest weapon against us.
They finally got it to work or something.
And he's like, they couldn't get it to work. He's like, again, or something like that.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. And it's I think a very interesting. I like the aspect of the origin story is that there's this material that as the Dr. Abe explained, the serum amplifies everything that is inside you, and so here's
good becomes great.
Well,
bad becomes this.
Right. And in the beginning of the movie, they showed how Johann feels he's superior to everybody, and we found that Steve Rogers only wants to contribute as much as he's capable, and the serum gives them both the opportunities to be their true envisioned self, and he feels he's the most superior man. Well, he's going to be in a silo and always concocting schemes to rule the world, while Captain America is able to foil him.
Humble,
awesome.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Hell yeah. Max, humble man.
Right.
Oh, and the scene when he does go to eventually rescue Bucky, it looks like they were doing some sort of brain torture or something to him already.
Very
the Germans were. Right. So I'm wondering, he seemed to be like not reprogrammed, but a little,
Yeah, it's sent to a special or a unique situation.
Yeah.
Not just in a regular cell, but in a strapped bed.
Yeah.
Laying the seeds for Winter Soldier.
Ooh, I wonder if they knew that he knew Steve. Ooh. Maybe that's why they had him captive. They thought they could get better information out of his best friend.
Very plausible.
That'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that's canon.
They comment on wiping him and starting him again. They're able to erase his memory after their procedure, so it's already questionable as to what he. I mean,
the Russians. You mean I got you. Sorry, I was lost. You mean Barnes, right?
Correct. Yeah. In the Winter Soldier, later on, when he's being used by Robert Redford. One of the threats that Robert Redford had for him was we'll wipe him and start over, and they were going to put him in a procedure to erase his memory and reprogram him.
Jesus.
I think they did that. I think that's
dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately, it is. I mean, it is, that's not unfortunate. That's what is the bridge built to the depths of emotion that allows the viewer to reach those things. Is, man, that's terrible, and then allows you as a viewer to imagine, to empathize. Mm-hmm. Not a real person called Bucky Barnes went through this situation. This is all fiction, but it can cause people to feel in a cool way, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is why I watch them.
Yeah, heck yeah. I
definitely cried in this one, I think, more than once.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the grenade scene is the first time I cried.
Yeah.
And that's one of it's the purity of heart, the worthiness, of Thor,
yeah, proving he's worthy, and even in Civil War or Ultron,
yeah,
he's able to lift it. Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites, not just for the righteousness, but just his ability to plan quickly. He's not necessarily the most masterful tactician, but he's going to try to create an outcome that benefits everyone that it should benefit.
Seeing Captain America?
Captain America, yeah.
I'll say one of the things that I have understood about Captain America is that as much as the serum enhanced his body physically, it's said to have enhanced his mind. And that's one of the things that he underplays about himself, and it's one of the things that enables him to continuously surprise his enemies because he's figured out their scheme a long time ago.
They just think he's a big dumb lunkhead who's going to punch him.
Yeah, that's his thing, is that he's physically unstoppable and unshootable, and he's got that shield that's impenetrable.
Yeah.
But he's not only that, but he is
pretty smart.
Really smart and able to outthink you and think 3-4 steps ahead.
Yeah. Hey, proved that with the flag. Even before he was smart.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It only amplifies his thing. And it's just something that he doesn't, as a character, advertise.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps that as a ace in his hand, or a ace up his sleeve.
Yeah. Which good for him.
Right? I mean, he's not the most powerful guy. He's
we read online when we were watching this, we looked up some of his powers, if he had healing powers, which he doesn't really, but he definitely, his cells are, I said, amplified.
Better than us, but it's not as much as Wolverine or Deadpool or anything like that.
If anything, you could make the argument that he can withstand more pain.
Yeah.
So he can, I'm sure his adrenaline is higher, things of that nature. But one of the things we looked at was that his, I forgot what we just mentioned, the strength.
Strength and his mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His
dexterity also increased.
Yeah. At pretty much everything.
Constitution.
Or just role playing.
No.
Intelligence. I don't know. I just really, really like him. He's definitely one of my favorites. And the origin alone is really, really good. I wasn't a big fan of the American guy wearing the bowler cap. When I saw him at first, I mean, maybe that's just my association of that type of hat with British people.
Yeah.
And that type of mustache with British people. Or, I'm sorry, that type of mustache hat combo with British people. But I immediately assumed that dude was British until he spoke. And I don't know if that's like he's like part of the comics, and that was like a character choice back in the day. I get the ragtag group of this is America's melting pot. Like the Asian guy's like, I'm from Fresno, Ace.
Yeah.
When the white guy was oh, I'm racist against Asians.
Sure.
He's like, oh, I'm from fucking Fresno.
You know, maybe that's what it was about. I mean, maybe
just like an eclectic bunch of
it was supposed to be
American
like, we're
representing.
Or it could have been like, he's supposed to be playing a English guy, and they listen to his English accent and like, nah.
Cut the accent. We'll keep the costume though.
It might have been like something like that. But I mean, I think though that actor, he's been a villain in a lot of things. I think it's because he's got scary eyes. Feel sad for the guy.
He's you're right. He was the bad guy in fuck. Yeah, you're right. I can picture him with like a black leather jacket. But he's been the bad guy in a bunch of stuff.
He's often a generic bad guy. And he's got, I think his eyes are
scary man eyes.
They're they're gray, maybe blue. I don't know, gray. I don't know, but
they're a darker color, or something.
Yeah, but the mustache and the bowler cap, I think, works so well on.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, he needs a British accent with that that combo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I bet you I might have been close to the mark with we heard his English accent.
The director was like,
nah, he could have worked on the
so can you do Cockney? Oh, I could do Cockney. No, you can't.
Oh, I can do Cockney.
That's Australian, buddy.
Oh, I can do that's all you do. Oh my God, let's just back up.
He's like, Australia,
let's just stick with
mate.
You're American.
Yeah, just be American, but wear the hat and the mustache. Looks good on you.
Yeah, right? It does.
Stanley cameo number 5 was when they were going to award some sort of medal to Captain Rogers after he rescues his friends and probably like 800 others. He's one of the generals in the audience.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I thought he'd be taller." When it's some other guy that comes out instead of Captain Rogers.
You like those so much.
I know. I miss him.
Me too.
I didn't know him personally, but I definitely miss him.
It's got to feel so amazing to have the group of characters you created be so. I mean, they were
beloved,
right? They were inspirational and beloved before through the comics, but as the MCU hit, it reached so much more audience.
There's a line from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Epic Rap Battles.
Yeah.
It's Stan Lee versus Jim Henson.
Yeah.
And Jim Henson at the time is defending Henson in the battle, and he says, "The Thor will always be fantastic. The Hulk will always be incredible. The words you wove within the hearts of heroes are indelible."
Oh.
And yeah, I think I put that on my Facebook when he died because I was like, and I get like kind of teary eyed just thinking about watching the rap battle and that line coming up because now that he's dead, it means so much more.
Right.
And it's true. I mean, yeah, they're gonna. That's like the back in the Greek days when they were talking about David and Goliath or name a god. And him destroying some other god over some petty discrepancy that they had. That's the stories we have now. That
like
which
Homer
is awesome.
The Odyssey
exactly,
and just passing it down through generations.
Or King Arthur, or the reason we know Achilles' heel and shit like that.
Yeah. This guy is regular modern day Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean,
him and Jack Kirby.
Thanos copter. I'll pull that out again.
A new kind of mythology. They're not born out of these gods.
Like Thor
aren't born out of powerful mythology too. But I mean, most of
copyright Greeks, Ep.5 or whatever.
But they, generally, aside from Thor excluded, they were born out of a modern era. And it's their character strengths that set them apart.
I'd say, and character weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Tony being an
I mean, I
outgo.
guess everything about them sets them apart.
The characters, yeah.
They are individual.
They are unique. All of them are separate. Yeah, Stan, that is correct.
So I'll leave you with that wise words.
All of them are separate. Got it.
Got it. Write that down. No, but like Tony Stark, his ingenuity and determination is distinguishable from Captain America's heart and perseverance, though they might lead to the same goal and blur both, probably inspired by each other. I don't know. They're distinct. They don't have the same personalities. They don't have the same strengths. I'm just saying that there's from that, there's not just a perfect ideal. In the DC universe, that's Superman.
Yeah.
Superman is the perfect hope, the thing that everybody can aspire to, can improve a little bit more and get closer to what he's like. But Marvel segments that into all their heroes, breaks it up into everybody has so many individual and unique strengths, and they're all potentially good.
Oh, and changing.
And
at times.
And potentially bad, right?
Yeah.
If people can have change. I don't know. I'm not saying that DC is a stagnant place that is only about Superman, but
I definitely feel like in terms of the cinematic universe, DC is definitely darker, and they seem to be going in a one direction with their specific characters until they came out with Shazam. Then it seemed to be more comical, but
yeah, I feel that they were they got super giddy about Christopher Nolan's Batman. Super giddy about Christopher Nolan's Batman. It was. They took his dark, realistic approach, and they felt like, oh, that's what everything's got to be now.
Forgetting about Teen Titans and
right.
Mark Hamill as the Joker being funny when he needs to be.
They definitely took a strong bend towards that recent success, and I think the recent success was due to the particular directors taking a interest and a strong, meaningful hand in telling a trilogy, not thinking about a cinematic universe. It was
it's in my head. It's not part of the cinematic universe to me.
So they shouldn't have tried to emulate that necessarily just for based on its success, but I mean, Dan, you and I have said this, the DC animated movies,
oh my god,
on point.
Oh my god, way far and above the cinematic universe.
Hardly a complaint.
Yeah,
they are
amazing and tear jerking.
Yeah,
oh my god, yeah.
Well written,
well acted.
Yeah, and why they would not take inspiration from that is beyond me. Also, the Justice League cartoon that was
even Teen Titans, dude. I used to watch that way back in the day. The plucky cartoon show that was great.
Yeah,
and that had character development and struggle and strength and strife.
They didn't need to do what they did.
I completely agree. They definitely, compared to Captain America, a movie like the Batman versus Superman, it's like the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
But I did like the introduction to the shield. I don't know if you remember that scene when they panned over all the prototype shields. Those are some of the shields that they drew from the comics back in the day. Some of those designs. It was pretty cool. And the shield itself, when he holds it up, she's like, "What do you think?" And she pulls out the gun.
Right. Yeah,
that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those shields that were laid out on the table are from the comics. And then she proceeds to shoot him.
Yeah, right. Because she upset that the lady cornered him into a kiss.
Yeah, he was kissing the Game of Thrones lady.
He's susceptible to getting cornered.
But you saw how, like, oh, I got you. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing that that's not the first time he's been cornered by a girl. That's all.
After, post.
Oh, right.
Radiation.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No. Continue.
Speaking of the radiation, they're called. Dr. Abe calls them. I'm in my Thor notes. I wrote it down.
What?
Vita rays.
Oh, in the chamber.
What the fuck is a Vita ray?
Right.
That sounds like some Bioshock shit.
Yeah.
Like, stand down, get your Vita rays. You'll be feeling blue in no time, or feeling green.
I do
I don't know.
like trying to dissect what makes the hero. Just like I did Iron Man. It's his crazy intelligence, his ability to make the suit, and
a 50-pound piece of metal that protects him from ballistics and changes in velocity at random times. Right.
But Captain America, of course, it's the good man, the nature, that spirit that is so felt by the but it's the chemical, the serum,
the blue juice
that gets injected to his pecs and his quads. I don't know.
His biceps and his chest.
But
booty.
It's also that Vita rays, as you mentioned. So it's a combination of the serum, and then the Vita rays seem to be like the serum is making his body receptive to those Vita rays, or maybe able to sustain the Vita rays, or grow past, through, strengthen. I'm not sure, but that combination is what make.
So it's like the two-step spray from Scotchgard. The waterproofer.
Right, yeah.
It's like one spray and then another spray.
If he just took the serum, I'm guessing he might have just been
Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum.
I think you would have been just a kid again.
Love your waterproof
they
products.
The Vita rays, which that Vita rays must be what, I don't know, powered his body to produce mass and muscle and.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, that actually provided the literal improvement, and they almost try to call it off, but he says, "No,
I can take it."
Right, which I think
classic
that might have actually been like another tear moment. Like, oh man, that guy he cares so much. Though I gotta say, the Red Skull, he's obviously a smart and ambitious person, and Zola, super intelligent, maybe Tony Stark equivalent of the era, because he creates a monstrosity of amounts of things.
Yeah, like an army's worth of weapons.
Of laser weapons, aerial, like a plane the size of a carrier.
Yeah, that thing is crazy huge.
Other planes on its bombing,
and it has propellers. I actually wrote that now. And they have CCTV cameras. They have live feed TV all over the plane, and the plane has automatic turrets. He's the only one on the plane. Right. Captain America flies the bomb.
Yeah.
Which flies the bomb around the plane.
Time and work does Zola and the Red Skull, the smart people in their setup, have to set up all this technology and manufacture it.
Mm-hmm. And is this after Hitler? Do they actually say when they're like taking out the Hydra bases? Is it during the takedown of is it in 1945 or is it post 1945?
I'm guessing. This is just a wholly guess, because I'm sure they had Captain America punching out the literal Hitler in
the comics. He punches Hitler in the comics.
I'd wager that at the end of this, we're seeing is the war against Hydra. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that.
So Hitler's already defeated.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what my guess was too.
Yeah.
I was thinking this was like into like maybe 1947, 1948, like a few years after the war.
And of course, we only think we're destroying Hydra.
Dun, dun, dun. Teresa pointed out there's a point.
Those tires are larger than my living room.
Yeah, this whole ship is the size of like everything.
The tires that are the landing gear for this ship.
Teresa pointed out that the scene when they're fighting initially, when Red Skull and Captain America go toe-to-toe for the first time on that catwalk.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where he kicks him and they separate, and then Dr. Zola goes whooshink and they separate.
The retracting drawbridge.
Teresa looked at me and she's like, "Who is he protecting?" I was like, "Oh, you know."
But actually, Zola.
I know, and that's why I pointed out to her. That's why when you said, "Ooh," you know, the allusion to Hydra not being gone, I was like, well, you know, he kind of does fuck him over in the end.
No, but that's a good point because, like, earlier on in the movie, they had like "Hail Hydra," and the other guy's like "Hail Hydra," and Zola didn't say it, and then he's like, they look at him like, "Yo, what the heck?" And he's like, "Hail Hydra!" He says it all weird, but I mean, so I think that's a good point. I think that they definitely insinuated that Zola is scared, reluctant and worried about what he's enabling.
Yeah.
But later on in the scene where he's eating steak with Tommy Lee Jones, he doesn't seem too regretful or...
No, but Tommy Lee Jones does rightfully point out that he doesn't dispute that it's either him or Johan. Yeah. And he obviously chooses them.
Yeah.
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 Also, the scene where the dude gets cut up by the propeller.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
So awesome.
Man, I always think, and another thing I think about, how the ease of which they made these auto turrets, these mono rotor
bomb planes, piloted bombs.
Yeah, they have such advanced technology that we're not even close to yet still.
Even Stark says, the submarine that they're dissecting.
Yeah.
Which I was like, man, how'd they come up with a submarine, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, cool, it's actually Stark dissecting. He's like, I'm not even close to this technology.
Right,
I'm a cool crazy. 40s guy. Yeah.
Zola has got to have been the pre-Stark guy.
Well,
it's cool to think about.
As we find out, he's part of Hydra, which Hydra is part of S.H.I.E.L.D., which S.H.I.E.L.D. is working for America, which that probably explains our giant explosion in technology. And
I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. was working for America. I think that S.H.I.E.L.D. had infiltrated... Hydra had infiltrated America and S.H.I.E.L.D. I think
and does
Hydra was
but
foreign.
S.H.I.E.L.D. reports to a council, doesn't it?
Right, yeah.
So it's not actually it's not actually like American...
It's like UN.
Okay. But it's Strategic Homeland...
Oh, yeah, so Homeland would imply that it's America.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Because you don't want to do home front.
Unless they're talking... Well, Homeland might mean the Earth, so...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think it is like the UN with actual capability rather than what we have our UN. But I mean, it's because in the comics they make the S.H.I.E.L.D. is its organization on Earth, but then they create SWORD, which goes out into the...
Ooh, what's that stand for?
It's really weird. Succulents without rudimentary diagnoses.
Wow.
Which makes no sense.
Wow. They really went... Yeah, I mean, they went... They were really trying to go green, and the name says it all. Succulents. Succulents without rudimentary diagnostics.
Yeah, that's
patented.
Yeah, well, they really wanted the word SWORD to be drawn from their acronym.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I get it. No, I get it. They decided what they were after they chose the word.
They figured it. You get it. You don't need a... Yeah.
So one of the other gripe I have with this is towards the end, he's piloting the plane, and, you know, it's a big-ass plane, right?
Yeah.
Probably meant for a crew.
Yeah.
So the crew would probably, I would imagine,
have
store parachutes.
Yeah, there's no other way. He could even probably just jump out of the plane and roll and survive.
That's what I thought too. And there's a deleted scene in Endgame where Rhodes confronts him about that. So he's like, "Man, so he's like, you plummeted that big ass plane into the ice, whatever." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay. Why didn't you jump out?"
Right.
And I mean, I get the dramatic ending and Endgame. It's a deleted scene in Endgame. It's a deleted scene.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I mean, yeah. Yeah.
He could have probably survived the fall
He
from...
probably could have. I mean, yeah, you just get it maybe even just closer to the ground before you just jam it forward and then jump out the front and run off the back like a superhero.
Water, whatever.
Yeah, but nope. But, you know.
I'll just he must have knocked out because he got water over him that froze.
I mean, they show the plane sinking. So what I imagine happened is the plane hit whatever
iceberg.
Yeah.
Glacier.
Probably wasn't that thick and either hit like maybe an under ice lake or something like that and then
because it falls
froze over.
eventually.
Yeah, and it sinks a little bit.
I can imagine the plane making some heat.
Maybe it sunk really far and then global warming and they got to it in the future.
And thank you, Captain America. We need you. We fucking fucked up Earth.
Thank God we ruined the ozone. We found Captain America 70 years later.
Can't wait till Captain Earth gets frozen out, unfrozen.
Hey, it's Captain Planet.
Dude, which was Cheadles. Don Cheadles.
Is Captain Planet?
In that, there's a comic.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. Have you not seen that?
I have not. We'll have to watch it after.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other thing I didn't really enjoy about the ending was I went through a bunch of my notes. So, I talked about the CCTVs in 1944, which is absolutely ridiculous. But the no, I lost it.
You know, there are some gripes, but I like it so much.
Yeah, it is really, really good. I didn't find many gripes. I did like the fact that Johan's uniform gets better and better as the movie goes on. There's like more cool straps and more black.
When he pulled off the face to reveal the red skull, and then I don't know if this was just a coincidence or the actor did it to signal, but he takes extra time because there's something sticking to the back of his neck. It's irritating. It's it's just like a little bit left.
Ugh.
And because he cares about it, it makes me believe that the red skin is his face even more. Like once he actually gets it free, it's his whole face out in the air again. You know?
And then there's that last little bit, oh God.
Yeah. It sells it for me. He's magnificent with the makeup. And it's so sad that he doesn't want to endure it anymore.
Yeah, he definitely did a really good job.
Hugo Weaving, do it for me!
Let's just do like a show about Hugo Weaving as Red Skull.
Oh, man.
Sure. And I love the very end when, before he jumps on the plane, he kisses, she's like, wait! And she grabs him and kisses him.
Mm.
And then he looks at Tommy Lee Jones. I'm not kissing you.
Yeah, oh my God.
So
it's
perfect.
Tommy Lee Jones. Perfect
so
line.
good.
He gets one comic one in there. He's good. He's good.
And another cool thing about the Infinity Saga, Red Skull is the first mortal that they show to physically touch a stone.
He doesn't survive it.
He doesn't survive it, but he's the first one to hold one.
And he actually didn't touch the actual stone.
Yeah.
He touched the representation of it, the protective shield.
Yeah. But,
which is crazy enough.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, yeah, even if that's enough to kill him.
Because it was crazy for me to see when Thanos just crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
What? I was not expecting that. I was expecting maybe like condense it or I don't know, but to think that it's just what is the material that he's just discarding around and just falls to the ground?
Space dust.
Really?
Glass. Space glass.
Yeah, I guess.
They snort it at parties.
It's not important anymore. That's what it is.
Yep. So after it all, little old Cap gets the trick pulled on him where they make him think he's at I was wondering why they didn't do their research. He wakes up to a game that he had actually attended.
Right.
But then again, I thought about it. How are they supposed to know how many fucking games he attended? But
Sure.
they picked 1941.
Yeah, why would they go so far as to put on a radio? They could just leave it blank.
They could just nothing. Just wake up to a room that looks like it's a 1940s hospital.
Coming in and saying,
Hey, how are you?
things are not exactly as you expect.
But
You're in America.
that
Yeah.
that game,
Yeah.
that's called a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
That game on the
yeah.
radio. So
Oh.
he learns about what?
No. We said the game they put on the radio is what you said. Deus Ex Machina.
Yep.
I like it. Go ahead, continue.
That was it. That's
4 stars.
after the 4 stars. Thank you. At least you didn't give me 5. At
It's
the
out of
end,
7.
after credits, they basically do a full-on commercial for Avengers, which I thought was odd. But as we spoke about it earlier, you said that, man, yeah, I hate that Disney Plus does that. They don't
Yeah.
allow you to go back and. How'd you do that?
Clicked on it.
Oh, well, that's the computer. Xbox doesn't do that.
Right. But yeah, the whole big commercial for Avengers that was. In
Yeah,
back
the high, like you said, the movies, all the origin stories
Yeah.
for the, maybe not Hawkeye, for the team had come out, and yeah,
Hawkeye
Hulk
was
2
hinted in
and
Thor.
Thor. Yeah, so they got it ready, and that is actually our next movie.
Ooh.
I'm really excited for it. This is one of my favorites. I actually have it on Blu-ray. I plan on watching it on that
Ooh.
instead of D+. So that one came out a year after this one in 2012, and that was directed by one of my favorite directors, Joss Whedon.
Man, what a director that doesn't come along that likes comics more than Joss Whedon. So
It's a shame we forced him out.
you know,
Quit Twitter and like, yeah, he's,
right? You know what? I gotta say, I don't agree with the director job function overlapping the writer. I don't think that.
You think the writer should establish the screenplay, and the director's job should be executing how
Correct.
the writer foresaw it.
Correct. I mean, I think that's ultimately what the job roles imply.
You are directing things.
Not writing, not creating. You are making the product. You are directing all those involved to produce on screen what was written.
Now, why would you feel that way? Is there a series of movies that came out recently that have not exactly gone the way you thought they would, that maybe had some director-writer meddling? I can't imagine there's a trilogy.
So
the next movie is Avengers.
yeah, Joss Whedon.
With Joss Whedon, or directed by Joss Whedon, and I'm very excited to review it.
Till next time.
I am Dan Science, S as in science,
And I'm Dan F as in fictional.
and I hope you have a scientastic day.
Fantasy.